have a sales process. Before we even teach agents about scripts, about objections or anything, we go over the mindset and the psychology behind selling.
Welcome to Stay Paid Insurance and Financial Marketing. Unlock the secrets of success in insurance and financial services, where each episode delivers valuable tips and strategies to elevate your marketing game and help you succeed in both life and business. Brought to you by Reminder Media. Welcome to Stay Paid Insurance and Financial Marketing, brought to you by Reminder Media. My name is Joshua Stike, joined with Luke Acree, and our guests today are Jalon Talley and Michael Kwarteng. Jalon Talley and Michael Kwarteng. Both Jalon and Michael join us from True Wealth Financial, a nationwide life and health insurance consulting agency that was founded to empower life and health insurance agents become the best versions of themselves and help service and protect their clients' financial legacies. Jalon and Michael, welcome both of you to Stay Paid. Thanks for being here.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Man, it is awesome to have you guys on the show. You guys are killing it. I met you guys at 8%, which is a huge insurance conference put on by our boy Cody Askin. So if you're not familiar with 8%, make sure you check that out. But would love to hear you guys' story on how you got into insurance and building the agency that you have so far, because you guys are really growing. A lot of people, to pay you a compliment, a lot of people at 8% were referencing you guys as just like people who are just killing it right now and what you're doing. And I was like, okay, we got to get these guys on the show because anybody who's growing like that and has that type of reputation, we want to hear their secrets. So if you could give us a little bit of your background, how you got into insurance and lead us up to today.
Awesome. Man, guys, thanks for having us on the show today. Luke, Josh, it's been, it's a pleasure to be here with you guys here today. So I actually joined the insurance business about going into my 4th year right now. I actually started back in college at Ohio State University. Me and Jen were roommates, man, the college days, you're broke, looking for ways to make money. Jalon actually joined the industry first. And then, I was like pretty much helping Jalon out pay rent as well. And then one day he came home and, Chick-fil-A was a big thing for us. He came home with Chick-fil-A, you're making money. So he came home with Chick-fil-A one day, like, dude, what did you do?
How'd you get those chicken nuggets, man? How'd you get them?
Yeah. It's tough as a college kid, So he come home with Chick-fil-A. I'm like, man, he's coming home happy, just strutting in the house. I'm like, what did you do? He said, well, I just made about $1 or $2 grand in one day. I'm like, hold on. Like, who did you rob? Who did you steal from? Like, are you okay? So he's like, because he was doing insurance, but I wasn't really paying much mind to it because like he's broke, I'm broke. I wouldn't do what he's doing because he's not seeing success. So it makes no sense. So that one day he saw some success, and immediately that day I went straight into a testing course called Excel Solutions, got my life insurance license. And it's been up since then. But pretty much Jalon actually got into the industry, and we've been best friends for the last 18, 20 years, give or take. And we both grew up here in Ohio and here in Westerville, Ohio. And
how big is your agency? I don't know if you call it that or not, but your agency now. How many people you guys got on your team?
Yeah. So this time last year, the agency was really just me and Mike and like 7 other people. Me and Jalon and 7 other people. But now this year we're at about 160 agents.
Jeez.
Last year this time we're probably doing about 60,000 a month in sales. Now we're hovering around $250,000 to about $300K a month in sales.
Jeez, man, well done.
We should be at about $1 million a month in sales by April or May of next year.
Jeez, talk about taking action. He comes home with Chick-fil-A and you're like, all right, insurance license, here I come.
Yeah.
He literally got in.
Because, I was getting a finance degree at OSU, and, it was my senior year, mom and dad like, hey, man, go get nothing wrong with a job. And I applaud people to have jobs, but it wasn't meant for me. But my parents are both from Ghana, Africa. All they know is 9-to-5 job. They don't know anything about entrepreneurship. So when I told them I want to become an insurance agent, they're like, no, absolutely not. Go get some security at a desk job or Bank of America, use your finance degree, but I knew I wanted more. I want to, make my own hours, get that financial freedom. And this vehicle is it.
So tell us then, right, is like, yeah, obviously it takes a lot of different things to go from just the two of you to 160 agents. The first part of it is you have to prove out that you can sell, because nobody's going to follow you if you can't sell and show. And like you said it, you weren't going to get into insurance till you saw him have chicken nuggets and you were like, all right, there's some success here. I'm getting in. Right. So break down for me how you guys generate leads or some of the ways you do it. And then why have you had success in selling?
Yeah. So for our first, I've been in the business for about 5 years now. And for me and Mike, we decided to take on the path of learning the business ourselves first, getting really, really successful at it. Because like you said, people aren't going to follow after you if you don't have the results. And I see a lot of agents when they come in, they go into that model, hey, come in, bring in 2 people with you. And that's fine. It works. But for us, I just truly believe that when someone's coming into the opportunity, they're coming in for the person who brought them into the business and not necessarily the agency itself. So you have to have a little bit of results before you can even bring people in my opinion, to be able to help them get to the next level, for them to be able to trust you enough, right? Because in reality, if I brought somebody into the business, they're not looking at the next 2-3 people above me. They're actually looking at what I'm currently doing, right? So we wanted to make sure we had proven results and a system that people could follow before we started recruiting, a system that actually worked. So for us, we just started building less than a year ago, and we've been able to scale super quickly. And we're still working. We're still redesigning a lot of different things when it comes to marketing, when it comes to growing. So for us, we have a few different vendors that we utilize when it comes to phone sales. We have not a hybrid model, but we do have a field sales division and also a phone sales division. We're just tapping into the Medicare space now as well. But yeah, we have field agents where they go out, they still door knock the old school way. The people who are not the best over the phone, they're in the field, they're knocking it out. We still have some of our best agents in the field right now. And then we have our phone agents as well right now who are crushing it also. Right now, we're trying to learn how to build and brand our own leads. Currently, we actually just shot a video not too long ago, promotional video for it. And it came out pretty well. So we're going to be putting that on the market probably in January.
Are you planning to run Facebook ads or YouTube ads with that video?
Correct. Okay. Facebook ads, YouTube ads, put it on TikTok. We probably go more towards Facebook just because we're marketing more so towards final expense clients. That's where all the FE people are, right? I don't think you're gonna find much FE people on TikTok, right? But they'll be on Facebook for sure.
Hey man, everybody dies. Don't discount it. Everybody dies. No,
that's true. That's true.
I guess let me pick your brain a little bit on the door knocking, because we don't have a ton of experience there, right? And you guys have obviously experienced a little bit. How do you choose what house to go to? Are you buying a lead and then going to that house, or how do you choose what door to knock on, I guess I should say?
Yeah. So, so pretty much me and Jalon, our background was just straight up door knocking face to face. It's kind of how we were trained by our mentor years ago. So we would buy a lead, and the lead is just someone saying, hey, I need life insurance. Come see me. To put their first, last name, date of birth, their street number, street address, their beneficiary name. They'll fill it out. They fill it out today, Thursday, November 9th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The agent would get that lead at 10:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. And we train agents that are doing face-to-face sales to get that lead and do a friendly stop by to this person's home. Now, our demographics, we're looking to help people between ages 50 to 80. So they're usually retired. They're usually at home. They actually prefer us stopping by because their mind says the old school way of doing insurance with the old guy stopping by the briefcase at your home. They love that. And honestly, these elderly folks, they don't like that phone stuff sometimes, that bombardment of phone calls and spam calling. So the agent will buy the lead, go stop by their home. Hey, my name is Michael. I'm a licensed agent in this area. I got your information about you want to know more about final expense coverage. I'll just go stop by for about 2 or 3 minutes, get you qualified for it. They will get in the home that way. Our process, done deal. The client gets approved on the spot. Agent's getting paid a day or two later.
Wow. What do you find? I'm not sure if you guys track it or not, but like the conversion of like how many doors you have to knock on average to get somebody to actually buy or to have a good qualification happen. So I knock on Josh's door and I actually get him qualified. Maybe he didn't close right with me today, but he's qualified in my funnel.
Yeah. So I would say, for face-to-face agents, every 10 doors you knock, you're bound to make one sale.
Wow.
I'm a part now in my business where I've been doing it for so long. I can just knock on, like yesterday, I still do face-to-face sales now myself. I just love it. I think it's so easy. I can't get enough of it. I only knocked like 5 doors yesterday and I made 4 sales, so it could be that easy. I mean, you're just showing up. This is their name here. They recognize it. You show them your badge, the license up here in the state of Ohio or whatever state you're in, and it's pretty much a done deal. So answer your question, I'll say every 10 door knocks you have, you're bound to make one sale.
Wow. And how many doors do you challenge your field team to do a day or a week?
We say every single day, at least 20 doors in a week. Hey, you want to make 10 grand a month? Let's reverse engineer the math here, because one sale should generate you about $600 in income.
Wow.
All right. So if you buy 20 leads a week, you're bound to close on 30% of these 20 leads, which is 6 closes out of 20. And you spend $500 to get these 20 leads. You spend $500, get 20 leads. You close on 6. The average income of one deal is $600. Times that by the 6 closes at $3,600, you can make in 1 week off your investment of $500. And you just do that every single week, rinse and repeat.
Nice. What qualities are you looking for in that talent for someone that can go door to door and do, other than not being good on the phone? What are some of the qualities that someone has to have to be able to hit those 30% conversion rates?
Go ahead, Jalon.
Yeah, I will say the biggest thing for us that me and Mike look for, we're actually keep tailoring this in because we only want to work with people who are serious. So for us now, we're looking for people who are strictly full-time. When it comes to especially face-to-face, because you don't have enough time to do a part-time because you have to knock before the sun goes down. In the wintertime, we're on the East Coast, with daylight savings and stuff. It starts getting darker around like 6 o'clock in Ohio now. Mm-hmm. So it's super strange. So you have to be able to knock a ton of doors before even 6 o'clock. So people who are full time, people who are committed to their process, and people who are really looking to win, not only for themselves but also for their family. Because I know the biggest thing what moves people is 2 things: what's in it for me and what's in it for you. When I say what's in it for you, it's their family. If I can get somebody to commit to their personal self-development, their personal self-growth, and want to grow internally, they're automatically going to want to go out there and protect and win and help other people. And also thinking about their family. I always tell people, hey, yeah, you can always come into the business and want to make a lot of money, but once you make a lot of money, are you going to be satisfied? Probably not, right? You have to start looking at other people who you're doing it for now, because you're going to get tired and like, man, Mike, I've been hitting these doors all day. I haven't made the sales that I'm looking for. Right. And it's 3 o'clock and they're like, I want to go home. And then I can get them on the phone. Like, okay, cool. Well, is your mom still working? She's still working. She started working at 6 o'clock this morning. What time is she getting off? Oh, she's getting off at 7. So she's working a double today. Are you sure you want to go home?
Yeah, that's right. What I'm talking about.
Like, no, we'll go out there and make it happen. And so we're looking for qualities like that. What will happen to, your family, your daughter or your son, if they came to you and said, hey, well, I got this field trip coming up and it's going to cost this amount of money. Are you going to end up just giving up on them? Or are you going to give up on yourself? Or are you going to give up on them? Like, what's the biggest loss that you're actually taking? Your son not being able to partake in all the things and the qualities of life that you actually want them to have. So for us, we really do a deep dive before we even have people join in to see what actually moves them and try to change their psychology behind sales and the business itself. Because if we can get people to buy into what's in it for their family, we can always get them to be able to progress and stay consistent in the field. Because field sales, it's a challenge because you get doors slammed in your face. You get people cussing you out at times, right? And you just keep getting beat up, but you have to keep going no matter what. So that's what we're looking for. And the last thing we're really looking for people who really loves people, who genuinely cares for people. You know what I mean? Like, you can't do this business if you don't care for people. I always tell our agents, hey, if you're in this business only for yourself, you're not going to make that much money. And if you're complaining about how much money you're actually making in a month to month, I always ask them, how many people did you serve this month? Because we have something here that we tell people, hey, your income is going to be directly correlated to the value that you bring to the given marketplace. So if you're not making that much money in this business, unfortunately, you're not serving enough people. You're not adding enough value. That's right. So and when you look at people who are the top dogs in the industry, the reason why they're getting paid so much money is because they're adding so much value to agents and clients' lives. So for us, we always want to make sure that agents are coming in with the mindset of serving other people so they can get rewarded in the back end and make a lot of money.
That's amazing. What drives you two? What kind of keeps you, both of you, to keep going?
Yeah, I'll say for me, man, the biggest thing for me is my mom. My mom, my dad. My dad actually just got put on Social Security disability because he's not able to work due to a lot of his illnesses and stuff. His back pain he's aching, and he's not able to work. And I seen my dad hustle so much, and he's still trying to hustle to this day while he's in pain. And then I see my mom working literally since I was young, from 6 a.m. all the way to midnight. Jeez. Working double. And for me, it's just not an excuse. I got 6 brothers. There's 7 of us total. Wow. I got every single male in my family above me have a felony record.
Wow.
On my father's side. So all my brothers have felonies. And anytime you get marked with that stigma of, hey, you have a felony, it's hard for them to be able to go out there and have a fair shot at any career, because a lot of people are turning people down when they have that felony on them. So for me, I want to make sure I'm my family's backup plan. Lord forbid they don't get the chances that they actually deserve, even after they change their life around. So for me, that's what drives me. I want to make sure my family is well taken care of. And, I think there's always that one person in the family who can change the trajectory of where their family tree is supposed to be headed. And I think I'm that person for my family.
I love that. That is powerful. What about you, Mike?
That was good, Jalon. For me, I've heard it many times, so it's like every time I hear it, I'm like, okay, I love it. For me, it's my mom, my dad as well. Both of them immigrant parents from Ghana. For them to go from Ghana to America, 40, 50 years ago, they had to go through a lot of stuff to make it happen for me and my 3 brothers. I see my mom many times, she works from home where she would literally sleep on the couch, not get a quote unquote good night rest, just to wake up a little earlier to get back to work at her sewing machine down in our basement back at home. I got a brother that's 32 years old. He suffers from seizures like 3 to 4 or 5 times a day. Goes in and out of the hospital. As we were driving a few months ago around our community here in Westerville, Ohio, and I was pointing out to some places that I love to eat at or I used to work at, and he just mentioned to me, he's like, Mike, I really wish I could work as well. Like, he told me, I really wish I can keep working, but he can't work. He's 31, 32 years old. And, his illness, not his illness, but his seizures have just kind of happened so much where he can't, drive. He can't work the same jobs we all have the ability to work. He can't do the day-to-day activities that we all, I say, so-called take for granted. So, the days that I want to quit, I just look at that. I just think about that and just, keep going forward.
Yeah, it's super powerful. It's amazing what perspective does. It's like you always sit there and you can be a woe is me, victimhood mentality. But if you take a little second and think about what you have versus what maybe others want. And a lot of times it's like your worst day is somebody's dream day. Like that is the truth, is your worst day a lot of times is somebody else's dream. And so once you get that perspective that often comes from gratitude, it can change your whole outlook on life, and it can ultimately change your life because what you think about, you act upon, and that becomes who you are. So I have a question kind of gearing into the sales aspect, right? So you're buying leads, you're going and door knocking, 1 out of every 10 should be a close. Oftentimes the hardest part in sales that I find is that there's 2 parts of the sale that are really difficult. One is intro, getting the actual ability to pitch, right? Before they slam the door in your face, they bang the phone on you. The other is the close, right? Because you can pitch all day, but I always joke with people, the sale doesn't really begin until you ask them to buy something. And then the sale begins. Until then, it's just nicety and they're shaking their head going, oh, I love this. It sounds interesting. But when you ask them to actually buy, that's when the sale begins in a lot of ways. So I would love to know when you're in the home and you're trying to close somebody, right? What is it about shifting to the close, or how do you guys think about the close to make it smooth, to make sure you get that conversion? And I'm assuming you get objections. Every sales process does. How do you think about overcoming objections?
Yeah, that's good. So, with our phone agents and our face-to-face agents, we have both divisions. We just train them once we get on the phone with the client, that's the first thing. And then do that in our first 5 minutes, we're just trying to figure out why they need coverage. We're going to hit on some pain points. And usually we want to hit on a pain point that, hey, because it's so simple as life insurance. Hey, Miss Betty, do you not have the funds right now today, if you're to pass away, to have to pay for your funeral costs, which may cost 10, 15, 20 grand? Does your son, Tony, have enough funds? That he doesn't? Okay, well, we go through that in discovery. We go through the presentation, telling them how the policy can benefit her and Tony when she passes away. And when we show the quotes at the end, they're picking a quote. And we always tell the agents, when they pick the quote, the first question you always want to ask is, who's your beneficiary? You just retire right back to their why. And then once you get that beneficiary name that we just talked about in the discovery, the fact-finding part of the presentation, if there's any pushback, hey, Miss Client, I'll tell you what, the hardest part is next. We had to see if we can get you approved. If we get you approved, they're going to mail the policy to your home here. And then your first payment is next month. Now, keep in mind, if we can't get you approved, I like you, you like me, but we can't be friends because you're not approved, So that's pretty much what we'll say at the end there, if there's any pushback. But at that time, at that closing part, we already hit on so many things in the discovery, the fact-finding process, and then the first 5 to 10 minutes of presentation, that at that end there, it shouldn't be much pushback. But Jalon,
I love the takeaway, by the way. The takeaway of basically the uncool kid on the school ground, right, is nobody wants to be left out. Nobody wants to be not approved of. Nobody, so you're kind of giving that little bit of it's not about the money. It's like, can you even qualify for this? It's like, what do you mean? Of course I can qualify. It's like, and then it takes their mind. It's a distraction off of the cost, right? And I love that tactic. That's great. Go ahead, Jalon.
So pretty much like when they pick the quote, they're in on control. And then once they pick the quote, I'm just pulling it away from them. I let them know, hey, now I'm back in control now.
Yeah.
Just letting you know, it's kind of in my hands. Now in the next 10 minutes, after I'm trying to get them approved, they're on that edge of stuff. Did I get approved yet? Did I get approved yet? No, just give me some time. But at that time, I'm now building more rapport. I'm not kind of like digging more into their why again. So go ahead. Yeah.
I would say that the sale actually begins from the minute that you get on the phone or the minute that you see your client in person. And the reason why I say that is because we have a sales process. Before we even teach agents about scripts, about objections or anything, we go over the mindset and the psychology behind selling. And the reason why it's so important is because an agent needs to understand why they're saying what they're saying. Because if they don't understand why they're saying what they're saying, they can't deliver it properly. So for us, the sell always starts from the approach. I do phone sales. So when I call a client, there's always two things that people are thinking about when the phone is ringing that they don't have their number saved. Who's calling and why? Those are the two things. If I can handle both of those things and build trust in my first 5 to 7 seconds, I can guarantee by the end of the time I go to my close, the closing rate should be super, super high. So for me personally, I don't get a lot of objections at the end because I'm working on building a ton of trust from the approach through our discovery, which is our fact finding, through our education, and then I'm going in and I'm closing. So for our close process, I always tell agents, take yourself out of it. You want to make the close process less transactional as possible. Less transactional as possible. And the reason why I tell agents that they want to make it less transactional as possible is because the minute that you try to make it sound like a hard sell, the client is gonna be like, whoa.
Yep.
Well, like, I'm not sure about that, Johnny. Take it easy. So I just don't, for us in the discovery, I just don't really like to have it be super, super transactional in the close because you done built up all this rapport. And if you come in trying to sell them like you're trying to sell a Kirby vacuum, it's not going to really work out, right? Final expense is a different sell than mortgage protection. Mortgage protection is all transactional. But when it comes to final expense, it's more of an emotional sell. So even in our discovery, I always tell people, hey, people don't care about how much you know until they know about how much you care. So if you can show the client that you really care about their family, you want to make sure that their family's taken care of, you want to make sure that they're taken care of, Lord forbid, they passed away. By the time you get to the close and you ask them, hey, who's going to be your beneficiary? They're automatically already ready to go because you have built up so much rapport, so much trust, and you allow for them to pull that emotion out of them in discovery. So by the time they get to the end, they already closed themselves. So our discovery process, we have something called, what was those things called when we, those three questions we ask, trial closes. We have 3 trial closes that we ask. And these 3 trial questions that we ask, the client is literally saying, yes, yes, yes. If I get 3 questions.
Get them on the yes train.
Yeah, if I get 3 yeses to these trial closes, I already know I got them closing my discovery. So your discovery should be so effective. You don't necessarily need to go through the rest of your presentation because your discovery was so great. You should just be like, hey, are you ready to sign?
That's awesome.
So for us, we really want to make sure our discovery process is really, really good. So by the time we get to the close, we can just ask them, hey, who's going to be your beneficiary? The biggest thing I see a lot of agents struggling with when it comes to the close is they're asking for the close and not assuming the close. So for us, we assume the close. When we ask that question, who's going to be your beneficiary, we're already starting the application.
Yes, that is so good, man. I'm reminded as you talk, like people don't want to be sold, they want to buy, right? Yeah. So nobody wants to be sold, everybody wants to buy. So you got to connect with them in a way. And there's this saying in sales, like features tell, stories sell. So a lot of times salespeople will share the features of their product. And even when they get to the close, the pricing features, right? The promotional things, the transactional, as you call it, versus transitioning with a story sell. And it's so funny. We're in a completely different business, right? We're marketing, selling to guys like you. And we still the same process. It's like you tell the story at the close of literally the final thought, we call it, of getting you on the yes train, which is our tie down, our trial close. And if you say yes to where you'll call your clients based upon this program that we've presented to you, well, we know we're already moving to the application because you just said yes really to filling out, but we're not telling you necessarily, okay, I need your name here, I need this, that, and the other. It's just telling the story of how you can use the actual product. So I think you are spot on in assuming the close, telling the story to transition to the close versus just the I call it the technical details. Most people get lost in the technical details and then they lose the sale. This has been amazing, guys. You guys are
really appreciate
studs.
it. Jalon, Mike, thanks so much for coming on. Before we close out here, let people know how they can connect with you.
Absolutely. So you can find us on our Instagram page, our business page. It's True Wealth on IG. So we spell it TRUU Wealth, WEALTH. We have a YouTube. Get it on YouTube now. It's just True Wealth Financial. True Wealth Financial. My personal Instagram page is going to be just Mike, my last name, so MIKE. my last name, Kwarteng. Our website is called wearetruewealth.com. Jalon, you want to mention your Instagram page?
Hey, you guys can find me at Jalon Talley, but feel free to connect with us on our True Wealth page. We'd definitely love to connect and work with you guys or help you guys out. For us, the biggest thing for us is making sure that every single agent is equipped with everything they need to be successful, whether they're part of our agency or not. I understand the struggles of how to get started. So if you are an agent who's looking to get better where you currently are, let us know. We'll definitely love to assist you.
Love it. Thanks again so much, guys. It's clear after talking to you face to face why you guys are crushing it in the insurance space. Thank you all so much for listening. You can dive deeper to this episode, get the show notes and the links that were just mentioned there. You don't have to write them all down. We're going to write them down for you. You can get those in the show notes over at staypaidpodcast.com. And if you enjoy this episode and want to support the show, head on over to Apple Podcasts, drop us a 5-star review along with a comment. And the best way to support the show is to simply share this episode with someone that you know. If you want to get hold of me or Luke, you can email us at podcast@remindermedia.com. And of course, you can follow us on Instagram as well. We are at Stay Paid Podcast. For this episode of Stay Paid, I'm Joshua Stike.
Guys, I'm Luke Acree, Jalon, Mike. Awesome stuff, man. It's incredible to see you guys and what you're doing. Here's my action item for everybody listening to this, right? Because you can listen all day, but if you're just a hearer and not a doer, you'll never improve your life. You got to be a doer. So I want to give you something that you must execute this week. You heard them talk about the close. And one of the things they mentioned that I think is really powerful that most people don't have is what's called a trial close. It's called, I call it a tie down, right? How do you get the first yes that's not the final yes, but gets people on the yes train? Do you have a trial close in your closing process where you're asking them a question to get them to say yes to, which really means they're saying yes to buying whatever product you're offering? If you don't have a trial close, you need to work that out in your process. That is the difference in your conversion. That's the difference in your closing ability. Remember, the difference between top producers and mediocre producers in every single business is top producers take action. Take action on that today.